honestly.
Hello, and welcome back to the We Don't Wanna podcast. This is the show where two certified dipshits make uncertified takes about your favorite series. We are your hosts. I am Zach, and joining me, not
Zach,
now,
actually-
Scott. Lord Tywin and I are talking. It is Scotty Westside, the fucking guy.
I'm sorry I interrupted you. How dare me? It's me. I'm here, and I will come back later, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this just not a good time
Dude,
for you? Or?
Why is Mace such a fucking moron, dude?
Dude, I fucking low key love Mace. He's such an idiot, and
Yes.
Olenna just puts his ass in its place.
I mean, she does that with
constantly.
most people, but yes.
True, big true on that one. Yeah, she's the best. She's the best.
Yeah. How you doing, pal?
I'm doing well. You know, couldn't be better, some might say.
Really?
Because as you're sporting and I'm sporting, we got that new merch finally
We got that
in.
new.
We got that new merch. I'm very stoked on that. Zach is rocking the crew. I got the sick baseball tee with the sick ass cowboy. My favorite, I think, of the new merch, I gotta say, I think is I got the tank, the sick tank top with the party skelly on it.
Party Skelly, hell yeah.
And I think that one's my favorite.
How's the fit? I didn't order a tank.
It feels great. It's like I got what I normally get, an XL, and it's like a little loose, but I like it. It's not like super tight.
Cool.
And yeah, I probably won't wear it on the show, not to disappoint anyone, but I gotta save them bare shoulders for the OnlyFans, you know. So sorry, you probably won't get to see that one.
That's gonna be exclusive on WannaFans.com.
Yeah. No, what was it? River Fans? Is that the thing I accidentally said that one time? River Fans instead of OnlyFans.
I think that's a thing you said.
You ever heard of River Fans, Sebaristan?
Made8.com is what it is.
Yeah.
That's what it's really gonna be.
Definitely. So I'm doing super swell. It's been
Hell
a good
yeah.
week.
Dude, don't the baseball tees feel good? They're like such a lightweight,
yeah.
like nice,
Super soft.
and
too.
they have like the traditional like vintage like cut bottom. Like it's not like a
traditional seam.
yeah, it's not like a traditional seamed bottom. It's the one that almost kind of has like a little bit of a roll, or it can like roll a little bit. It's great. I love it.
That I don't know what you can tell.
I just love it.
It's great.
It's really
Yep.
nice.
Big fan. Like I said, big fan of the baseball tee. Big fan of the tank. The honestly the crew. I got the crew as well. It feels.
What color
nice.
did you get?
I got the navy. Is that what you got too?
No, I got the light, like the lighter blue one.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, this thing's fucking bitchin', dude. Big
it's fit.
fan. It's soft and comfy, and it's a little oversized, like just a little oversized, which is kind of like what I like on a crew neck.
Right. I can't wait till it's actually cold enough around here to wear it.
Well,
which
Amanda
will probably be never.
Amanda literally keeps this place freezing, so it's
Yes.
always cold enough to wear it here.
We know you and your adventures with the Snuggie, remember? We know
Yes.
how cold it is in your apartment. Everyone fucking knows.
So,
brother.
nice head.
Nice head. Did you just tell your wife nice head?
Yeah, she just got done like taking care of her hair.
Uh-huh.
And she's got a giant, like her head's in basically she looks like Professor Quirrell.
Oh, like a turban, like a towel turban.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There she is! What's up, Amanda? Hell yeah. That's basically she looks like. You do know how to pander to our audience very well,
Yes.
you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty great. Hell yeah.
It is pretty great.
Anyway, we're back.
We're back, baby.
We're back talking about our favorite season of Game of Thrones.
True. Has it only been a week since we recorded? I feel like it's... Okay.
No,
has
you were
it been-
camping last week.
Was that last week? I thought we
Yeah.
had recorded since then. I just...
Mm-mm.
No? It feels like a long time. I was going to say I don't think it is, but it feels like a long time. But apparently it has been a long time, so what do I know?
Yeah, how was your camping trip, man?
My camping trip... Are you sure we haven't talked about this already?
I'm pretty certain.
Okay,
dude.
all right. My camping trip was rad as hell.
Hell yeah.
My dad did okay.
Maybe we did talk about it.
Maybe we did. I have no fucking idea.
Who could know? There's no records.
Someone once told me that time is a flat circle.
Yes, exactly.
It was great. I won't go too deep into it, but it was a good time. Beautiful scenery.
Will you go too deep into me, though?
I always go too shallow into you.
True.
Big true on that one.
Little true, actually. Not big.
That just doesn't sound as fun. Little true. And it's not, I can tell you.
It's not as fun when it's little.
It's not as fun when it's little at all. The bigger the better. But anyway, camping was good. Anything else exciting that we've probably already talked about for you,
probably.
pal?
Astros had a nice couple trades. Picked up Trey Mancini, which is pretty cool. Christian Vasquez from the Red Sox. So they're doing great. I'm loving it. Here for it. Other than that, no, man. Just hanging out. Just playing Apex Legends.
You play that game way too fucking much.
Yeah, way too much.
You need to get on that multiverses.
I mean, I've played a few times with you guys.
I've played a few times.
Actually, okay, so there are some of you guys out there who do actually enjoy like listening to our bullshit about like video games when we talk about
there's
video
like
games. There's like
2 or 3
there's like
of
5 of y'all. Multiverses, free to play on every platform except Switch. Is fucking awesome. If you guys have not heard about it, it is essentially a variant of Super Smash Brothers. I don't want to disrespect either by comparing them too closely, but
it's the same genre.
It's the same genre of fighting game, very different mechanics, but it's in the Warner Brothers universe. So you've got characters like can we say all the names, right? Doesn't matter.
Yeah, why wouldn't be?
I don't fucking know.
What? Relevant to this podcast, there is a Game of Thrones character in the game.
Yeah, there you go. It's
one of our favorites too.
Arya's in. So you can play as Arya.
Hell
you can play as Bugs Bunny. You can play as Tom and Jerry.
Yep.
Jake
Giant.
and Steve, or Steven Universe. Jake and Finn. Excuse me. Steven Universe. Batman. Superman. I mean, it's so
Wonder
cool.
Woman. It is super fun.
It is. Oh, yeah, and I know Scott just said this, but I didn't give it the hype it deserved. But you can fucking play as the Iron Giant.
You can play as the Iron Goddamn Giant.
Vin
it's
Diesel
a super
himself.
Cool game. Vin Diesel himself. They are going to add a bunch more characters, probably several more from Game of Thrones.
And some Harry Potter characters, I think, are kind of borderline confirmed.
Possibly. Borderline. They might be tied up in rights issues, I hear, but... Daenerys and the Hound are heavily rumored, so
yeah,
it's cool. And there you go. Cool. We tied it to the topic slightly, a little bit.
Yeah, so go download
play as Arya.
It is free to play, guys. It is free to play. It is so cool. I am loving it.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. Yeah, seriously. But hey, Warner Brothers, you guys need a podcast to sponsor.
Hit us up.
Yeah, hit us up. Slide into those DMs.
This is episode 32, The Lion and the Rose. This is an episode that has a very important happening for the second episode of a season, I feel like. That's the thing that always stands out to me about this episode is it's like, oh, we're doing this already?
Now?
Like,
well, I feel
holy
like
shit.
You had a really good point last... maybe it was like... I don't remember what episode it was on. It was definitely in last season. About how, I mean, this is all from the same book.
True.
You know, so like this being at the beginning of the season is still kind of later half of book 3.
Right. Which is why, I mean, a big reason why I think this season is so good is it's just all climax, baby.
Well, so I love all climax as usual. That's all I am. No foreplay, just all climax.
Foreplay, all climax.
True. But we just have to point this out because it needs to be said because there is going to be comparison to this like later in the series. Climaxes and everything.
Oh, sure. The little moments, the quiet.
It is all
moments.
climax, and this is insane because they're taking the back half of a jam-packed book and flushing it out over a season, and they are still not forgetting to invest in the little character moments, which is what, in my opinion, makes Game of Thrones.
That's
so
true. Very good point.
It's just so fucking good. So
yeah, why don't we jump in here? Take us away with the old recap here of episode 32.
Sounds
the
good.
Wine and the Rose.
Yep, I've not read this recap as per usual.
This one's pretty tame, I promise.
Pretty tame. Okay, I don't know if I believe you. All right. We begin with a grisly scene where Ramsay and his girl Miranda hunt and kill another girl while Theon, or Reek, watches. Tyrion and Jaime have supper.
Gotcha!
About that. And Jaime tells Tyrion that he can barely wipe his ass and definitely can't fight with his left hand. Tyrion suggests Jaime train with Bronn because he will be discreet about it, so they do. Bronn still likes to fight dirty. My guy.
Yeah.
Lord Roose Bolton arrives back home at the Dreadfort and berates Ramsay for what he's done to a valuable hostage like Theon. Ramsay demonstrates that he has fully made Reek/Theon his creature and tells Roose that Bran and Rickon are actually not dead. It was a ruse.
It was.
I put my own joke in there.
Yeah, you did.
Scott didn't write that one.
No. That's a Zach original. Please do
Zach
not give
original.
me credit for that one.
Roose sends Locke to find the boys, and he intends to start looking at Jon Snow at Castle. He intends to start looking for Jon Snow at Castle Black. Scott, you don't have a spell check on these? Come on, my guy.
It's not misspelled.
You're right. It is.
You just literally are incapable of reading, is what it is.
It is true. Roose sends Ramsay and Theon to take Moat Cailin from the Ironborn, who hold it. Back in King's Landing, Varys tells Tyrion that Shea is in danger from Cersei and Tywin. Joff makes an ass of himself by chopping up Tyrion's wedding gift with the Valyrian steel sword that Tywin gives him. Tyrion is forced to give Shea the White Fang treatment because she refuses to leave and puts her on a ship across the narrow sea. On Dragonstone, Mel be burning people alive, while Stannis stands by grimacing and Selyse has an orgasm. This is true. This does happen.
That does happen.
Yeah, confirmed.
Pretty tame. I did say pretty tame.
We get another classic Thrones awkward family dinner scene with Stannis, Selyse, and Mel. And Mel has a lovely chat with Princess Shireen.
Lovely chat. She has a way with children. Beyond the Wall, Bran and co. continue their search for the Three-Eyed Raven. Jojen cautions Bran about spending too much time warging into his wolf summer. Bran touches a weirwood tree and has visions about where to go. Joff is finally wed to Marjorie in King's Landing, and she is looking just so goddamn gorgeous. Just unbelievable.
It's just not even fair.
It's really not. Lady Olenna has a chat with Tywin at the wedding feast, comforts Sansa, and continues to be just awesome all the way around. We love Olenna. Jaime tries to intimidate Sir Loras with all the terrible things that will happen if he marries Cersei. And Loras hits Jaime with the old, "No, you!" Cersei
So
has a
funny.
lovely chat with Brienne and then takes out all her anger on poor Pycelle. Oberyn and Ilaria trade barbs and subtle, maybe not so subtle threats with Tywin and Cersei. Joffrey attempts to humiliate Tyrion by having a troop of dwarves mockingly act out the War of the Five Kings. Joff insists that Tyrion participate in the mock battle, and tensions run high as Joff pours wine on Tyrion and continues to be a royal ass. Sansa hands Joff's cup to Tyrion, and he refills it as Marjorie attempts to distract and defuse. Joff refuses to let things go, however, and insists Tyrion serve him his wine as Tyrion and Sansa attempt to leave. Joffrey begins to choke as he eats and drinks and dies in Cersei's arms while pointing at Tyrion. Sir grabs Sansa and tells her they must leave as Cersei screams that Tyrion did this and to arrest him. And that is episode 32, The Lion and the Rose.
This is just so it's been too this has been coming for so long. As have I.
Long time coming, yes. I thought you were gonna say it's been too long since we've had a murder at a wedding. I was like, there's been, I think, pretty much. There was no murder at Sansa and Tyrion's wedding, but I think every other wedding we've seen murders.
What other weddings have there been?
Daenerys and Drogo. Obviously.
Robb and Talisa.
Okay, that was like less of a wedding and more of just a quiet, intimate ceremony, you know. But that's a fair point. Anyway, thank you for ruining my whole argument.
I'm here to ruin.
Yeah, you are a big ruiner. But yes,
I used to listen to a hardcore band called Ruiner.
I'm not surprised.
They were pretty bad.
They were wow, shots fired at Ruiner if you're listening here.
Yeah, they weren't great.
Long time coming for our favorite royal asshole, Joffrey Baratheon. What a moment. I know so many people were like so happy when this happened.
Yeah, it's like, dude, taking it back to like the first time I watched this, I definitely knew it had to happen at some point. Like, one, because I had already grown accustomed to watching Game of Thrones. But two, just because there's no way that a piece of shit like that is gonna just stay alive. Like
right.
somebody's gonna kill him. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But man, I was still caught so off guard just because the timing of it.
Sure.
At this point, I had not read the books. So I had no idea it was coming.
Right.
And I had no idea when in the story it would come. You know what I mean? So watching this episode, I was like, wait, did this really just happen?
Right.
Dude, it was just so cool. I was so happy.
Yeah.
So cool to see a child die on screen.
So cool.
So cool.
I am probably alone in this, but I will definitely miss our golden-haired boy. Just because he was so much fun to hate. Like, your show or your story or your fiction of any kind needs hateable villains sometimes.
Oh yeah, I know. That's a super good point, man. Like,
and he is super hateable, but he's fun in his own way. So I will miss him. But yeah, you're right. He had to go. He had to go for sure.
Definitely. Taking out the garbage, you know.
Taking out the garbage.
The garbage.
But again, to your point, it's maybe a little bit sooner than probably a lot of people expected.
Yes.
But in hindsight, it it makes a lot of sense. So
yes, definitely.
Where do you want to start here?
Let's just start at the top, man.
Just top down. Okay.
So my first note here was, man, Scott must be absolutely loving this. There's a whole lot of Theon at the beginning of this episode.
There's a whole lot of Theon and Ramsay, which I don't really care about either of them. This episode as a whole, I will say, I don't think it's as good as I thought I remembered it being, if that makes sense.
I agree. There's actually one scene in this episode that I think is really bad.
Oh, interesting.
Like, bad.
I wonder if I know which one you're talking about. I think what I was going to say is I think the wedding and everything around it is really, really good. And I think the rest of this episode is pretty
meh.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the sheer joy of finally like getting rid of Joff,
sure,
it's a it's like maybe a hair above average of an episode. It's nothing great, you know.
It's definitely certainly again, aside from the wedding, not up to season 4's standards, I feel like either. So
I have to agree.
Yeah, it's kind of
there's somebody else's standard that I also think it's not up to.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get there.
Anyway, it's not like I'm not trying to say this is like a terrible episode. It's certainly not. It certainly has its moments, as most Game of Thrones episodes do. But yeah, this Ramsay stuff, like, I mean, it's just further demonstrating what a monster he is to us. And I do like when Roose is around. Like,
yes.
I think Roose is a much more intriguing villain and interesting character than Ramsay is.
Agreed.
For sure.
Agreed. That actor is also just like, he just has like this cool, calm, collected,
yes.
like mysterious villain era.
Definitely. He has this like aura of like, I am playing a game similar to Tywin, but more of like a quiet, like reserved version where you can tell he's like calculating and scheming, but like he's kind of, more like subtle and like kind of reserved about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Roose is a super cool character. I
mean, a piece of shit for sure, but
right, no, obviously. But yeah, I think he's much more interesting than Ramsay for sure. But this is just Reek and Ramsay demonstrating that Theon is gone for
There's one thing that I do think is pretty funny during the chase sequence. Ramsay says something like, "You've made so and so jealous," and then that chick is like, "You think I'm jealous of her?" And he's like, "Can you see how you've become a problem?"
Yeah. That was like the only, just the look on Ramsay's face when he's like, "Ugh, see what I'm talking about?"
Like, you've kind of become a problem here.
Yeah, that was probably the only part I laughed or smiled at that. So yeah, Locke is gonna go look for the boys. He's headed up to
the boys.
Castle Black. The boys. Anything else you want to say about the Dreadfort stuff?
Go to like the gift giving, I think, is like the next main thing here.
Oh, well, there is the scene between Tyrion and Jaime.
Yes.
Which is a solid scene.
Yeah, it's
like,
all right.
I like seeing these brothers together again because it has been a long time.
Yeah, it's I have to admit, like, this was kind of a thought of mine watching this. I just feel like their reunion is just kind of lackluster.
I kind of agree.
I wish there was a little bit more, because they are such likable, interesting characters that their only interaction as like a coming home interaction is just a lot of silence, which sometimes silence can speak loudly, but it's just, I don't know. There's obviously some Jaime Tyrion scenes a little bit later in this season that are like absolute fucking heavyweight scenes, and it would be cool to see a little bit more of a just like more dialogue, I think, just in general between them in a casual setting, because there's really not much in the show.
I do agree. I wish we got more. Honestly, more in the books and in the show between these two, because they are two of my favorite characters, and I think they have a very cool and interesting relationship, especially the way it kind of turns later. But
right,
I do always love Bronn. It's just always great to see Bronn, and he has some great quips when he's training with Jaime. Bronn's fighting dirty as he always does, and Jaime hits him with like he's all mad, pissed off, and he's like, "If I still had my right hand," and Bronn just
plan on growing it back.
Plan on growing it back. And I'm just like, Bronn, you're so good,
guy, dude.
What a fucking guy.
I fucking love him, dude.
He's so awesome. What does he say about? She's a screamer, that one. if they don't hear us or her, they won't hear us. He's phenomenal. He's the best.
Very, very, very good.
Yeah. Let's get to the gift giving, I guess.
There is actually, you know what? There is there's the castle. No, actually, I'm sorry. You're right. The gift giving. This
was the one?
no,
Oh.
no, it's not. It's not actually. I just like, I don't know. I know how. You just made a very valid comment about like, kind of loving to hate Joffrey, but I think this season for sure was where it just kind of started to like overstay its welcome, which
interesting
is a good time for him to go. I mean, obviously,
right.
so like I don't think they misjudged or miscalculated that, like, but it is just like it just makes your skin crawl a little bit, like how uncomfortable and like annoying he can be, which is the intention. So I don't really think I'm necessarily like giving a complaint here, but like the things like this at the gift giving ceremony, it's just like dude, fuck off, dude.
He
like,
has
get fucked, kid.
He has certainly like upped his game in shittiness in a lot of ways, like you said, like in preparation for them kind of giving him the axe.
Yes.
Although I say that, and then I remember scenes of like when he's having Sansa publicly beaten and humiliated in the throne room. So maybe this isn't so.
I don't think it's a ramp up. I just think that like, okay, so man, this is. But I don't think I've ever like fully processed this until I'm trying to put it together in my head right now. But like, even in those moments where he's doing like very cruel things, like the Sansa stuff, or like with Roz, and like the other horror, like when he was like making them hit each other, right? Like that is one thing, but like he's obviously sick in the head. But even like just this, like at the gift giving, like he's just like an annoying, petulant child.
Sure. Yes.
Like
definitely.
it's in these types of scenes that I'm just like, oh, dude, like I just can't deal with this fucking child.
Petulant child is, I mean, that's the perfect way to do it. Like, just, I'm gonna swing my sword and fuck you, uncle, and your gift, and just like, what a fucking little dick.
Yeah, dude.
He's the worst. What a thoughtful gift from Tyrion too, and that little shit bag.
And he almost had it too.
He did, yeah.
He's like almost have it.
We all should have more wisdom in these days. Yeah. After Tywin gives him the look, like, you best behave, you little son of a bitch. And then he gets a sword in his hands, and he's immediately just a fucking royal ass again.
Yeah.
He's not okay. This is also where we get the Tyrion Shea thing, the White Fang treatment.
This is it, man. This is the scene.
It's
bad.
This is the scene.
This is the scene. It's terrible.
This is not the one I thought.
No,
is it her crying?
It's also, honestly, it's also Peter Dinklage. This is not his usual performance. Okay, so here are my notes.
I don't think I took note of this being particularly bad, but yeah, let's hear it.
So says for how good Peter Dinklage usually is, the breakup scene with Shea is, I just think, extremely rocky and not nearly as I think composed and like thought out by Dinklage. Not the feeling of the scene, like obviously this is supposed to feel like chaos, you know?
Right.
So that's not what I mean. I just, his like struggle to like convey his feelings and like what needs to happen to her, I don't think comes off as genuine. It seems really forced. His performance, I think, kind of sucks in this moment.
Okay.
And then you put the cherry on top with Shea's awful cry.
Yeah.
It is like, also, and like I have a note here too, like his accent fails terribly in this scene. Like bad, dude.
A lot of people have made that criticism of Peter Dinklage before, is that his accent can be kind of all over the place throughout the series. I don't really notice it, maybe because I'm not an expert on British accents by any means.
Like I'm not even, like, you don't have to have a perfect, like it just it like completely falls out.
Gotcha.
Like in areas in this conversation, and it just like, I don't know, I couldn't buy it. It like completely took me out of the scene.
I think that's a valid criticism. I I definitely, once you started talking about it, definitely, yeah, looking back, the Shea crying thing, I was like, ugh. But I also, just to play devil's advocate to something you said earlier, and I'm not necessarily disagreeing with you, but when you were talking about him, it's not ringing true, like the emotions he's trying to convey.
I know what you're gonna say.
Could it be because those aren't his true emotions?
It very well could be, but I felt like the scene was weak before he even started doing the White Fang treatment.
And that's fair enough. Like I said, I just want to pose the question.
But also, it is when the White Fang treatment starts that it's like really, really bad.
You're a whore.
Yeah. So I mean, look, I guess maybe that's it. Maybe I'm just like not in tune with like the intention there behind that. But for me as a viewer, I'm just like, yikes! Can we get past this?
That's fair enough. I didn't particularly take note of it one way or the other. But I won't dispute you too much. I honestly thought you were going to talk about the Bran scene. Just because, like,
dude, he's
just fucking grumpily eating that goddamn bread, and his hair is so long and stupid looking. I honestly, like,
your hair is everywhere.
Please don't even bring up such a great song in relation to Bran.
Hey, if any listeners know what that song is, you fucking rule.
Let us know. Hey, hit us up in the Discord and tell us who sings that song. Every time I rewatch the show, I find myself caring and liking Bran and company less and less.
Less and less?
Less and less and less. Yeah. Also, I will say the CGI in his vision scenes, especially the dragon shadow flying over King's Landing, did not look great.
It looks like a little mini city with somebody like tied a wire to a dragon.
That's the thing. I was like trying to figure out. I was like, is this a miniature or is this CGI?
Like, I don't hate miniature shots. I think they're cool.
They're great. Star Wars and Lord of the Rings made miniatures look unbelievable.
Yes. This was just like very. I was like, that doesn't fit in at all.
It looks like someone did bad CGI of a miniature. Like, it was, And Lisa, I like the image of someone was just like a fucking paper dragon on like a wire and just being like, rawr, like over the city. I don't have anything else to say about this scene. They're in the north doing stuff. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I would be curious to know if we have any Bran stands out here. Hold on.
Big old Bran stand.
Man, I really hope I don't piss anybody off here. Did Emily say she was a Bran stan? I feel like Emily was a fan of somebody that we didn't like.
Daenerys, right?
Is it Dany? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think so.
You're right. It definitely was Dany.
It was definitely Dany.
Definitely was Dany.
Let's talk about the Dragonstone stuff.
Okay, Selyse sucks, my guy.
Dude, Selyse has the hardest orgasm of her fucking life when these dudes burn.
Well, when you're married to a man like Stannis, it probably doesn't take much to fucking get you going, dude.
It's much, but she is, oh my god, it's so funny. Also, just the look on Stannis' face, I also found super amusing because he's just like, you think of when someone is like frowning, you'd think of just like kind of more like, oh, they're not really smiling. They maybe have like a tense look on their face. This dude is like full on cartoon where his mouth is turned like completely downwards. Like, I don't even think I can do that. He's like, I can't even do it. You're doing a lot better than me. You just look like you're determined or something. I don't know what the hell that is. But they're both just absolutely hilarious.
Me.
Don't start that again. Great fucking line from my boy Davos here, by the way, where he tells her when Selyse walks up and she's like, "Did you see, Sir Davos? Did you see their souls? They were leaving their bodies and they were cleansed of all their sins and all this." And Davos just like completely deadpan,
sure,
just
lady,
goes,
like...
"I'm sure they're more than grateful, my queen." I'm just like, Davos, you fucking own so hard. I fucking love you.
Fucking Stannis does hit Davos with a nasty little one. Is it this episode where they're talking, like he basically is like asking him how many men and ships he's got him?
No, that's next episode.
Oh, that's next episode.
We definitely are not recording that right after this. Zach is just as a really good memory. A really good
memory. I do have a really good memory. Yes.
Yeah, that's.
Hey, spoiler alert! That scene next episode's pretty funny.
It's pretty funny, and it happens.
It does happen.
It does happen. Now, this is where we get just another classic awkward family dinner scene. With Mel and Selyse.
Melisandre's face when Selyse is like, maybe the lady Melisandre can go speak to her. Melisandre is like, okay.
Yeah. I also just continue to love Shireen. When Mel goes and chats with her, like Shireen doesn't back down or isn't like, just doesn't let Mel just kind of walk all over her, if you know what I mean.
Shireen is just such a pure character.
Definitely.
How could you just not absolutely adore her?
Yes. And we get the classic trailer line from Mel. There's only one hell, the one we live in now. I know all the trailer lines from this season.
Do you really?
I'd watched that trailer so many fucking times.
That's so funny.
It's a great trailer, to be fair. Go back and watch it. Are we to the wedding now, I think?
Yes.
I think that's everything. The wedding is cool. It's always cool to see the Sept of Baelor. That's an unbelievable set. Definitely not a CGI miniature there. Marjorie,
it is truly. That's a good call out. We don't talk about the set pieces enough here.
Yeah. We don't talk enough about how hot Marjorie is. For sure,
not even close to enough.
If we spend an hour every episode talking about it, it still wouldn't be enough.
Yeah, it's just not. Okay, let me ask you this: Do you enjoy Natalie Dormer in anything else?
The only other thing I think I've seen her in is one of the Hunger Games movies.
Right.
What else has she been in?
With her head shape. I think honestly that's the only other thing I can pick. Well, she was in that show Tutors.
Yeah.
Which I didn't really watch. I just heard that she gets naked in it, so I was like.
So that's why you watched it?
No, I didn't actually watch it, but I did hear that she got
typing furiously to look that up.
I heard that. Cuts up.
Yeah. I love her hair. It's like her hair's all done up, done good. She's just looking
done up, done good.
Done up, done good. I don't know. I'm not a hair expert.
Dude, that's what gets Scott going. When you got your hair done up, done good.
When you got your hair done up, done good. Yeah, 100%. Get the hair done good.
Oh God.
There are so many little moments in this wedding reception that are very humorous.
And if any of you guys are watching this for the first time, when you watch it for the second time, or third or fourth or 27th time, there's a lot of fucking moments in this wedding sequence that are like,
Yes. Yes.
The frown.
One that, like, we're not going to call attention to all of them, and, like, spoilers aside, one that I think that is just an interesting little tidbit that will become very important later in the season is Olenna name drops the Iron Bank.
This is the second time we've heard of them.
Tywin.
I haven't noticed.
Is it the second?
It's the second time.
I couldn't. What was the first time?
I believe it's when Tyrion is explaining debt to Bran.
Yes. Yes. Good call.
So second time that we've heard of the Iron Bank, and
how they always have their due.
Yeah, like even more so than you stupid Lannisters and your stupid debts. Like, yeah, whatever the hell she says.
Olenna is so fucking rad. The not now, Mace. We already talked about it, but that is just
Dude,
legendary.
they-
The way he's like coming in at an angle to like meet them, and then she yells "Not now, Mace," and he my hands aren't on camera. He comes in at an angle, and then she says "Not now, Mace," and he immediately just veers completely off. It's so good.
Yeah, it's very, very funny, dude. She is
Oh
just
my God.
such a thorn. It's so funny.
Yeah.
So there is one line, and I might be skipping just a tad bit ahead,
Okay.
but Olenna, when she goes to speak with Sansa,
Sure.
war is war, but killing a man at a wedding is horrid. What sort of monster would do such a thing?
What sort of monster?
And for many reasons is this amazing. I'm only going to focus on one for, if you've watched the show before, for obvious reasons. She's sitting at a fucking wedding right next to the man who orchestrated the fucking red wedding, which I just think is just such a ballsy move of Olenna.
Yes. I mean, that is, if that is not Olenna in a nutshell, like, I don't know what else is. Like,
She is savage.
She
dude.
owns.
Yes.
She owns.
And she's like, she just doesn't fear, man. She's just like, yo, I'm just gonna do,
Yeah.
and y'all are gonna deal, man.
Exactly.
Like,
she is, I feel like part of it is just like at her age, she just like, she doesn't give a
she's like,
fuck.
yo, I've lived.
Right. But also, I feel like that's just also her. It's
Yes.
just compounded by the fact that she's old and she's like,
Yes.
I don't give two shits.
Yes. There is a second reason that is a glorious line in this setting. If you've watched the show before, you'll know exactly why. If you have not, you'll find out later.
Yes. Another line or another moment I have to call attention to is the look on Jaime's face when he sees Brienne and Cersei talking.
Yes.
Is so amazing.
Dude.
Because he sees them start to converse and he does like a full rubberneck. He's like,
Oh, shit.
oh shit. Yeah. There is like genuine like panic on his face because he's like kind of turned to the side and he does like a, oh shit. It's so fucking funny, dude. I was losing my shit when I saw that.
Yeah,
I don't know if I've
is-
ever noticed it before.
It's like, well, you wouldn't know because you're homeschooled, but like,
Thanks, Bell. always happy
you
to
don't
bring
you
that
don't
one
have
up.
core childhood memories. 'Cause
I don't have
you
memories.
didn't
I
have
don't have
a
a childhood. I
childhood.
don't have friends. Don't have a true experience on anything.
It's
yeah,
like
no.
when
Continue.
you're
I
you're a
gotcha.
kid and you're kind of like, look, I'm not saying like being a piece of shit and like dating or cheating on a chick, on a girl, but like, or if you're a girl, you know, whatever, whoever your interests are. But it's like seeing two people that you're like, I've been kind of flirting with that person like a lot and I really like them, but I've also kind of been doing that with that other person.
Yeah.
And then you see them hanging out and talking and you're like,
Yes.
oh,
Yeah, no.
this might not be great.
This could be
I
bad
need to
for
go.
me. No, yeah, that's
Ixnay,
100% what
Ixnay.
it is. It's like your girlfriend and your side piece starting to like have a conversation. You're just like,
Uh-huh.
oh, where could this go? This is my yeah. And then like I do feel like JB at some point was like looking. There's like, oh no, don't be cool, don't look, everything's fine. Everything's fine. I'm cool.
No, this is fine. They're not. Brienne wouldn't say anything.
There's nothing to do with me. Cersei, of course, does call her out on but you do love him, and Brienne is just like, I don't know how to respond to this. I gotta go. Oh shit, I left the stove on. I gotta go. So that's good
dude,
stuff.
I gotta go get my bungee cord for my owl.
Good reference, by the way.
Thanks, pal.
The other really, really good conversation is between Tywin / Cersei versus Ilaria and Oberyn.
Yes. I have a note here, and I don't know that you're gonna love this, but I think that what is his fucking name? Remind me.
Who?
Pedro Pascal, excuse me.
Pedro Pascal.
I think he outshined. I mean, it's a quick interaction, but I think he stole the scene from Charles Dance.
Charles Dance is more passive, I feel like, than we usually see him in this scene. So I don't necessarily disagree.
Well, he is passive, but he's still giving the jabs back and like trying to kind of like swing his dick a little too. But
I feel like he's more kind of like trying to like play it cool and diffuse. Like Cersei is the kind of inflammatory presence on their side, the Lannister side.
Maybe you're right.
I don't know. I could see it going.
I was definitely just like oh, this is like these are some phenomenal actors like dancing with each other right now. This is great.
They all do really well. I love Oberyn and his like I said, maybe not so subtle threats where he's like, and in my part of the country, you know, the murder of children is frowned upon, you know, something like that. And he's like, I would say you should be thankful that Myrcella is in a place where we do frown upon these things. You know, I'm paraphrasing something like that.
Right. Exactly.
And it's basically just like, that is not what Cersei wants to hear, because that is her baby. And she is probably going to be even more pissed at Tyrion because, again, she holds him responsible for that in addition to many other things. So,
yeah. Okay, so Loras talking with Jaime.
Oh my god.
Dude, it's so fucking good, man. It's like it seems like it's just going to be a cordial.
Yes.
Like even the way that Loras like bumps into Jaime and Jaime's like, hey, like it's no problem.
Right.
Like, no problem, man.
They
and
have like they share a smile, like a little joke and laugh, and everything's good. Then Jaime puts his hand on his shoulder and is like, hey. let me tell you how things are gonna go down.
Listen up, pal.
Listen up, buddy. It's very, very good, but I appreciate that Loras doesn't back down. And like I said, at the end, just gives him the, well, you won't ever marry her either, dude. Yeah. So fuck you. Boom.
Yeah. And he gives him the old slap on the chest. Like,
the old slap on the chest. Yeah.
All right. I'm done.
Hey, bud. Bop.
Good hustle.
Yeah. Good hustle. Good hustle. That is also a very, very good scene for sure.
Yeah, man. Okay, so is there any like pre-tense stuff that you wanted to bring up?
I think that's all I had. The big ones were the Tywin and Oberyn stuff, and then the Cersei Jaime and Loras Jaime.
Yes.
Or Cersei and Brienne.
Right,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now let's get to the finale here.
I do want to just kind of like throw this like veil over this whole section here. This section, you said this earlier, like this portion or everything wedding wise, I think in this episode is fantastic. But especially here, this is such an interesting like experience as a first time watcher, even as, I mean, obviously we've watched it several times and I've definitely felt this when I was watching it today, taking notes. There's just this really interesting thing that happens where there's a lot of humor. Like it's whimsical and it's fun. Like obviously like the play of like the Five Kings or whatever. Yeah. And you know, and other things that are happening around that too. But like there's a lot that's happening that you're like, oh, hey, this is like kind of like ridiculous and fun and upbeat. But at the very same time, it is building intensity and you are just like, this is not great. Like, what is going on? Especially if you don't know what's happening, but you're aware of like how the show is like making you feel that.
Right.
Oh my, it's such a weird, like you didn't even get that at the Red Wedding.
No. That's what I was gonna say. I appreciate that you made that point because it's very different from the Red Wedding in that. Yes, there was a brief moment of like building tension, but the beauty of it was how sudden it was.
Yes.
Like you can say that like the closing of the doors and them starting to play the Reigns of Castamere was the building of, you know, the tension. But that's like so brief in comparison. Like the entire latter half of this wedding, it is just like slowly. There's just like this aura of unrest and just like unpleasantness surrounding like
Yes.
basically everything to do with Joffrey and Tyrion. And it's just such a slow build. Like there's so many just like camera shots and cuts of people just like basically like starting to look more and more uncomfortable.
Yep.
And it just, you can tell, I feel like, even as a first time viewer, I feel like you should be able to tell something is coming.
Yes.
Now, whether or not like Joffrey gets poisoned and dies, you know, that's a completely separate story. But I think at the time, you know, because I was reading at this point, while reading it, I felt like we were about to get Joffrey like just goes full on like arrests Tyrion or wants to have him executed or something like that. You know, I was viewing it from like that angle because they've already had many confrontations, but most recently, you know, the big one was even at
Tyrion's wedding. Right.
So I think just that unease you feel at the end of this episode, like, because I feel like most everyone watching this show loves Tyrion and likes Tyrion. So you feel that unease for him, and then it's like he's kind of, this is not a great spot for him, and Joffrey's getting more and more dickish, and he's drunk, and like what's gonna happen, you know?
Right. There is there's also like, if we're talking about like the direction of this episode or the directing of this episode, not only do you get this like insanely cool experience where you're riding a high and you're riding this tension low as well, at like, and they're paralleled at the same time, you also get like when the place stops, the Five Kings place stops, and almost everything other than the dialogue is silent.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like, it's like the calm before the storm. There's still obviously a ton of tension,
right?
But it's just like you're like waiting to fucking hear a pin drop, dude. You're like, like what is going to happen here? The tensity is real, man. It's so fun and such a cool experience. So yeah, I love it. It's such a good sequence all in all. And then it's broken up by Marjorie, you know?
Yeah. The pie! Yeah. Bless her heart, Marjorie. She's trying.
Dude, oh yeah.
She's fucking trying.
Yeah, so I mean shit, man, like what else is there to say? It's just like,
yeah. I think that's the moment you were referring to, is when, you know, Tyrion also is trying to basically diffuse at this point, and he's like, oh, that would be a great honor to serve you, you know, and Joffrey just, it is not meant to be an honor, you know. And yeah, that's what I think you're talking about. Like, you can hear like a pin drop, and it's just so awkward.
Yes.
It's and so it seems like, it seems like then Sansa and Tyrion are maybe gonna slip away, but no, Joffrey calls him back. And then, yeah, he starts to cough and choke. And
it's funny, though, because, like, this always reminds me of, like, a very dramatic, like I don't know what. Like, I can't actually place, like, the image that I'm picturing. But, like, Joff is, like, sipping, you know, like, talking with Marjorie.
Mm-hmm.
And then his hand just, like, wait.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, wait. It's like, you thought you were getting away. Like, it's just so, like, it reminds me of like WWE, like, but also like some type of superhero thing. I don't know. It's weird.
Dun. Yeah, it's dude. Like a dramatic turn.
So dramatic. Sure. I love it, dude.
It is very, very good.
Oh man. Okay, so hold on. Still building to the.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. I think I might be having my order of events a little bit backwards here. Is it before or after the pie where Joffrey tells Tyrion to kneel?
It's before the pie.
Okay.
Because that's when he's like telling him to kneel, and Marjorie yells out, "Oh,
okay." I'm sorry. I wanted to just address that, dude. Like, there's a moment where I thought Tyrion was going to kneel, like just to get it over with and be like, sure. I'm going. Like, I want to get the fuck out of here. And I wouldn't have blamed him for it at all, in the slightest. But man, this guy we just need to acknowledge this. Like, Tyrion has just been just completely fucked by everything. Like, he had his moment of triumph in season 2 where he was like acting Hand of the King.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, after writing, like, it's almost more cruel because he was riding a high.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And now it's just like, hey, you're the fucking, shit heel of the family.
Right.
And he just gets shafted constantly. And he's just kind of had enough.
Yeah.
Like, look, I need to maintain some level of honor, some level of dignity. Like,
Right.
I will do the cupbearer thing. I'm going to let you throw this shit on my head. But then in front of everybody, like, kneel before your king. And it is silent.
Yes. Especially right after, like, the whole dwarves thing, too. Because, like,
Yes.
I mean, that is a direct slap in the face,
Oh, yeah.
obviously, of Tyrion. And, that's why Joffrey did it. And he does all these things to humiliate Tyrion, like we talked about, chopping up the book, the dwarves, obviously, and pouring wine on his head. And yeah, now he just wants him to kneel to humiliate him even further. And I think, yeah, like you said, like, there is a point where Tyrion is like, enough is enough.
Yes.
And I think it's tough to say what he would have done. Like, would he have refused, and like how that would have gone? But you can tell he's doing everything he can to like hold on to some shredded. And
yeah, it's insane, man. It's very, very powerful. Big fan of the scene.
The last thing I think I want to talk about is just like Lena Headey absolutely killed it with I think her performance with Joffrey dying. Like, I totally buy into and believe the fact that her, she is clutching her son, whom she loves, as he is dying.
How about her pushing Jaime aside too?
Yes, yeah. She doesn't give a fuck about Jaime at that point. But I have to call out her performance because I think it was excellent. Like, the mixture of like sorrow and just rage, too, at Tyrion, like screaming at the guards to arrest him. It's just, very good. Very good stuff.
I wonder how fun of a like scene that had to have been for like Jack Gleason. Like,
oh sure,
always just being like, always having to play like such a dick bag, and like he finally gets a death scene where it's like, it's one thing to get like stabbed and die, but like to have a choking death like this, like, dude, that's gotta be.
He looks so gross.
It's so gross.
So gross. Shouts to the makeup department too, because he looks fucking gross. Yeah.
I thought about when I was watching this episode, I was like, what am I going to do for the thumbnail for this episode?
Oh.
And I was like, do I put that? Would YouTube not like that? Because that might be bad.
Just his purple ass face. Yeah, I'm not sure, actually. That's an interesting one. You should just put Jaime's face as he looks at Brienne and Cersei. Any final thoughts here on this episode, Zach?
I think that's about it, man.
All right, let's move into our final segment here. This is Who Be Throning?
Who Be Throning?
Where we last left off, which was episode 1 of season 4, Prince Oberyn Martell, with his phenomenal introduction, had taken the top spot at number 1. This was a jam-packed episode. The Hound ate all the chickens and took spot 2.
Yes, he did.
Arya got Needle back and, generally
had her first adult kill.
Badass. Yep. And she took spot 3.
Oh, that's not true.
God damn.
That's not true.
Not true.
Her second.
She killed that Frey guy.
Yeah.
Tywin, in an episode where it started with like the most powerful scene of all time, was at number 4, which tells you how good this episode was. And Jon Snow, I can't really remember what he did, but he was at 5. Anyway, that was then. This is now. Arya and the Hound were not in this episode, so we can bring them down. Arya and the Hound gone. I feel like Oberyn has a strong case to maybe stay on the list. Tywin has a case to stay on the list. Jon was not in this episode, so I didn't do that. That wasn't me. John can also come down because he was not in this episode. Shut the fuck up.
I
Who
love you, pal.
do you think should make the list, you fucker?
I want to admit it's a little challenging because I know who I would love to make the list, but
Well, who is it?
well, it's very spoiler territory.
Well, I think you could have done it without phrasing that way because, or are you talking about the other person?
I think I'm talking about two people.
Okay. Let's put a pin in that and maybe never come back to it. I do have someone I want to introduce. 4 reasons that happened in this episode. I think she was fucking great. Olenna had a great episode. She was funny. Did. She had great lines. She had that really good conversation with Tywin. She's always a baller. She's nice to Sansa. She's like one of the few that is nice to Sansa. So I think she should definitely make the list.
Agreed.
Somewhere.
Let's go.
Do we want? I mean, it's a very bad episode for her because her son dies, but Cersei was really, like, her performance was really good this episode.
You wanted to take Dany off because of Drogo dying.
That's true. But, I mean, her performance is never anything that
Yeah, but Dany,
special.
all in the same episode, got dragons.
Okay, but to be fair, my argument was that Daenerys had to kill Drogo herself. Cersei did not kill Drogo herself.
She made the choice to take him out of his misery. Cersei had to watch her son be murdered.
Okay, how about like Roose?
No. Why?
No? I mean, he finds out that Bran and
he
Rickon
had
are
to
alive.
be he had to be smuggled into his own lands.
Okay, who else do you think? Non-spoilery, Zachariah.
Okay. Jamie, just for the look he gave.
I was thinking Jamie, but I didn't know how serious.
No, you know what? Actually, Marjorie. I think.
Good call.
A good candidate. Yeah, One, because she looked fucking insane, but 2,
she's a queen now.
She don't have to deal with Joffrey anymore.
Also, that is an excellent call. I think Marjorie should definitely make the list. Do we want Tyrion or Jamie? Those would mostly be performance based. Like acting.
Well, I didn't love. I thought Tyrion's worst performance of this series, I think, was in this episode. So that's kind of a
fair enough
give and take.
This might be everyone then.
This is kind of a tough one.
This is kind of a tough one because no one is really winning.
Yeah, I don't know that we can say Jamie because his son died.
Yeah, I think I agree. What about Mel?
Could say Davos.
I would also maybe champion Davos. He's barely in the episode. He has that one good line.
That's true.
About it.
That's true.
Well, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have 6 here. We could just decide amongst these 6. Mel is the only other one I feel like has a legitimate shot.
Why though? Can you walk me through that?
No. She burned some folks, and that's good for her, I suppose.
Is that how she gets her life, like her power?
Yeah, I mean, that is, she is doing it to further her cause. So
no, I know. I'm saying like her burning people is like charging her meter.
Yes,
charging her special.
Yes, she's charging her special. She's gonna hit you with the super Hadouken here in a minute.
A Trukin.
No, it's short Trukin. All right.
Who won this episode? That's gonna be a tough one, I think.
That is very tough. Of these, I would probably say Marjorie.
Think so, huh?
Because she, A, became a queen, and B, also doesn't have to put up with Joffrey.
True. Her marriage wasn't consummated, though.
True. So that's not ideal. But her situation has still improved overall. And I'm saying that as maybe a direct line from someone in the next episode.
Throw her up there.
All right, let's see how Marjorie looks up there first.
Hot ass Marjorie deserves it.
Hot ass Marjorie. I would say next is either Oberyn or Olenna.
You know what, man? Hold on. No, okay.
We forget.
Actually, no. I just convinced myself. I think Oberyn goes second.
Okay. And then
his performances are great. And also, a Lannister was killed, and he's probably stoked about it.
True. Are you good with Olenna at 3?
Yes, I am.
I think Tywin is fine where he's at 4. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And who goes to 5?
Cersei would obviously.
Hold on. I want to float this idea. See what you think about it.
Hit me.
Cersei points the finger at Tyrion at the end of the episode, but he doesn't have to deal with any issues of that quite yet.
I mean, he kind of gets arrested at the end of the episode.
I know. I had already forgotten that I didn't like that scene. I was just I was just more like an emotional decision here of like him, like that's gotta feel good.
Hold on. What about Sansa?
Ooh.
Joffrey was like her tormentor, and she seems to be.
That's payback.
You're right. She seems to be.
And she got led away.
Getting away. Well, we don't know if she's fully away yet.
Well, she was led away. That's why I said.
Yeah.
Let's put Sansa up there. I mean, she didn't really have shit of a performance.
That's true. All right, do a thing while I find a picture of Sansa.
I would be. Hold on. Let me ask you this. Do you prefer Sansa at 5 or Cersei at 5?
I think Sansa, honestly.
Okay. All right. Then find a picture of Sansa. Of Sansi. Oh man. Hey guys, if you guys are not already following us on the Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, you can do that at We Don't Want a Pod. And if you guys are interested in getting your hands on this sweet ass new merch, we'll have a link in the description box for that. A ton of new pieces of clothing, by the way. We've got baseball tees, sweatshirts, several different types of t-shirts, even crop tops for the ladies or for you boys out there. Let your belly button hang out.
Why did you say that so creepily?
Just let the belly button hang out. I'm trying to see some happy trails this summer, you know?
True.
Yeah. Anyway, go do that. Go support the podcast. It's a great way to support the show, guys. I'm sure you know that. And also, I feel like we don't say this enough anymore, but the Discord is still doing its thing. Come hang out with us, talk some shit, and hang out with all the rest of your fellow wannabes. We will still be putting a link in the description, but shoot us a DM, because those links for the invites on the Discord do expire. So shoot us a DM if you're interested in joining, and we will hit you back with it and get you in there and have a good old time. Maybe touch some tips, or consensually, of course.
Thank you for adding that. I feel much safer now.
Yeah, good. This is a safe place, Scott.
Yes.
Have you found a picture of Sansa?
I was having some trouble finding a season-appropriate picture of Sansa. A good one, but I think.
Can you just use... Now. Dude, she looks like 11. That is absolutely not season-appropriate.
This is like season...
2.
This is like probably season 2.
Dude.
All the ones out there are from way later seasons, and they're like kind of spoilerish, if you know what I mean. So,
dude, Sophie Turner in season 5.
Yeah, spoilers, Zach.
It's just not okay.
This is the picture. This is the card that we have been dealt I will maybe find a better picture of her season appropriate for next episode. But you got me under a pressure time crunch here. Sansa is at 5. We're done. End the episode.
All right.
No,
We'll
I'm
catch you
kidding.
guys later.
That is Who Be Thrown for this week. We're gonna go bottom to top. Sansa at number 5. Her first time making the list.
Scott, I need to tell you.
What?
I love when you go from bottom
To top. I know.
Oh, yeah.
You tell me every time, buddy.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Oh, yeah.
Tywin stays put at number 4. Olenna at 3. Oberyn
yeah.
at 2. And Marjorie Tyrell is yeah. You want to talk about I'll
I'll
her
go
all
bottom
night
to
long.
top on.
I would consensually. of course.
Consensually.
That is Who Be Thrown in. Get us the fuck out of here before we get ourselves canceled.
Hey, if any, I know. Hey, if any of you wannabes out there, do like any cool music stuff, I'm gonna put a little task out here. Let's see if anybody can deliver. I always try and do some dumbass beatboxing bullshit for the Who Be Thrown In thing.
Yeah.
If somebody has any sweet ass theme music you want to make for Who Be Thrown In, hit your boys up.
This is the weirdest request you've ever made.
Hit your boys up.
By the time this episode comes out, House of the Dragon will have probably started.
Dude,
right?
yeah, House of the Dragon starts in 2 weeks, dude.
Okay.
2 fucking weeks from live present day right now.
So maybe we should go back in time and make something to kind of announce this. But
we will do that.
Okay, all right. So I won't talk about what we're doing here. You already know what we're doing.
You already know what
you
we're
already
doing.
know. We're time skipping all over the place. I'm like Doctor Who over here.
Dude. You know, Doctor Who was a frequently requested show for us, and I'm just not about it.
That's like longer than One Piece. I'm pretty sure.
That.
So
fuck Doctor Who. It looks so cringe.
I
Never
would
trying
be
it.
opposed to it, but that's just there's way too much Doctor Who to even like. Where do you even start?
Well,
I'm sure some nerd out there will tell us like you start with the 8th and a half Doctor, and it's like what the fuck does that mean?
Oh my god.
Anyway.
Okay.
That is it.
Hey, I would be okay with seeing David Tennant on screen because I did love me some David Tennant.
Zach's already backtracking. He said never to Doctor Who.
We're never doing
I almost said Who Be Thrones. Doctor Who. And now he's like, David Tennant, though. Hell yeah.
Doctor Who Be Thrones.
Doctor Who Be Thrones.
Guys, thank you all for listening and or watching. I already did the plug stuff, the butt plug stuff. Go do the butt plug stuff with us consensually. Tell your grandma about the butt plug stuff.
Your grandma? Did you just say grandma?
Dude, I might be having a stroke tonight. Look, we appreciate you guys for listening so much. Hit us up wherever the hell you want to hit us up. And we'll see you guys next time.
Little hands? Do the little hands?
Little hands.
I love it. I love little hands.
Little hands.
Little hands and big. Anyway.
Oh my god, I hate you. How do I stop this?
A fucking mess.